What's good? It's your boy, B Nuts by the Bag. And we about to go ahead and get into it, man. This whole Jim Jones Nas thing, man. I did a video about a week ago of me going viral. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, I'm a musician, first of all. And let me say this coming out the gate. I would love to get on the level that Jim Jones is on. Okay. And secondly, can't nobody discredit him, right? I seen the whole thing with Club Shay Shay, and I just like to say this about that situation. Podcasters stick to podcasting. And I'm not talking about the musicians that have crossed over and started a podcast. I'm talking about dudes like Shannon Sharp. Because I'm just keeping it real, Shannon Sharp. Your opinion doesn't matter when it comes to hip hop. You playing football and getting some numbers on a podcast has no influence in the hip hop in the music world, period. You get what I'm saying? And when it comes to that specific issue, I'm not talking about what he was talking about, how I dress and check the billboards. I got more billboard hits than Nas, which we know is not true. I'm talking about Shannon Sharp picking a fight with him, picking an argument with him. See, if it would have been my platform, you know what I'm saying? I would have opened up with, you know what? What's up, Jim Jones? We got Jim Jones on the show. Jim, so tell us, man, you working on anything new? You got some new projects coming out? And then I would have transitioned into, you know what the hot topic right now is you saying that you better than Nas, and then got into it like that, and then within the dialogue, share my opinion. Off top, Shannon Sharp took it from a 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying? And then I see all these dudes making these videos talking about Jim Jones was wrong, Jim Jones this, Jim Jones that. First of all, if I got to bet on anybody, it's me. And if you ask me if anybody's better than me, I'm going to say me. Would I personally start throwing statistics out there if the facts are not right? No, I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, I understand what Jim Jones is saying because Jim Jones, Dipset, they had their era. I remember dudes was wearing, you know what I'm saying, dressing just like Dipset. I remember, and I'm 39, and I remember shit growing up in Ohio, Cameron and Dipset. I get it in Ohio, even though, Jim Jones might not been, that wasn't his song, Get It in Ohio. You get what I'm saying. From Jim Jones came Joel Santana and Dipset and Freaky Zeke and all those guys. You get what I'm saying? And as a collective, I'm not going to say Jim Jones as a whole, but that whole Dipset movement, they had a hell of a run. And they got hell of hits. And Jim Jones got hits. And he got timeless songs. So for somebody that's an NFL football player, okay, you ran up views. You were able to have the money to pay the Cat Williams and pay Kai Sense and everybody to come on your platform. Because let's keep it real. The average podcaster sitting at home might have better material than Shannon Sharp, but ain't got the money to pay these big dogs to come blow your views up, first of all. You get what I'm saying? So how are you, Shannon Sharp, gonna come at somebody like Jim Jones that had to get it out the mud, that had to start from nothing and make it up to the level that he is at right now? So me personally, Jim Jones rising to the top is way more influential than you playing football and taking some of your millions and saying, you know what, I ain't got nothing else to do. I ain't playing football. Let me jump in this podcast game. But now all of a sudden you got opinion and you a hip hop expert and you no Jim Jones no you ain't better than that. You can't. Hey, different strokes for different folks. Some people, I know people that don't bump Nas, that are straight gangster. You know what I'm saying? I lived on the West Coast for 15 years in Las Vegas. None of those cats out there is bumping Nas. Well, I'm not going to say none of them, but you get what I'm saying. The majority of them is bumping the Nipseys and the G Pericos and old school Pac and Dre and all that stuff. It's the culture. So Shannon Sharp, how are you gonna sit there and get that upset with Jim Jones and say you crazy and what you smoking? All that, man, he straight disrespected Jim Jones, bro. He should have gave Jim Jones the proper respect, bro. Jim Jones is just not your average SoundCloud rapper, bro. You know what I'm saying? He got hits. He's plugged in Harlem, and he's put a lot of work in the industry, bro. And I read the comments and people saying, oh, this person wrote this stuff and this and that and this and all this other just hating shit. And you heard what I said in the beginning of the video. I am a musician and I aspire to get on the level like a Jim Jones or a Nas. You get what I'm saying? But when you start getting into the politics of things, you do got to look at age groups. You know what I'm saying? How many of these young niggas out here is really bumping Nas going to do a drill? They bumping this Atlanta shit. They bumping this Kodak Black shit, this NBA young boy shit. They on drill, murder, murder, kill, kill. So how many of them is really listening to Nas? You get what I'm saying? And my job is to bring you the real. It's like if we're gonna talk about Jim Jones, it's like Jim, how old are you? You're not in your 20s. You're not in your 30s. You're not in your 40s. At this point, your legacy should be given back to the community and inspiring these YNs to leave that life alone instead of Sue Whoop and Blood Gang and Billy this and Billy that and tote my gun to sell some drugs on the street corners of Harlem. You get what I'm saying? You done mastered the art of that. Why not transition into somebody like Nas, far as uplifting these YNs? You get what I'm saying? Because your music is still based around, your whole persona is still based around, I'm a gangster, I'm a blood, I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know real bloods has really went out and put that work in. I can't speak on Jim's name to say if he ever then did a drive-by or spent on a crip. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna stick to the topic at hand. And I felt like Shannon Sharp disrespected Jim Jones, period, point blank. You can't take nothing away from him. He got hits. He's responsible for putting artists out, and he has made a substantial contribution to the hip hop industry. Anything other than that, you just a hater if you ain't gonna acknowledge what he did for the game, period, point blank. They had a whole era of nothing but Dipset. They had a whole era. He's done songs with some of the top artists out there. You get what I'm saying? So you cannot take that away from him. I want y'all to leave y'all comments, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. Is it an era thing? And be 100. Do you believe that these YNs in Chicago and Detroit and all that stuff, are they really bumping Nas? Or are they bumping the T Grizzlies and the Travis Scotts and the bumping Lil Durk and NBA YoungBoy? That's what this generation is listening to. Now, you take somebody like me that's 39. Yes, I grew up off of. I put Ice Cube, Tupac, Nas, Biggie, Jay Z. You get what I'm saying? Those top dudes go in the same category. You get what I'm saying? We in a whole nother era. So y'all took what Jim Jones was saying out of context when he said, "Oh, well, you don't be at he don't be at the same clubs." Probably not. You probably in the club where the niggas are sagging in the rhinestones and the hats and the bandanas and throwing up the gang signs. Nas, on the other hand, is probably in the upscale Italian restaurant, suit on, feeling like a don. You know what I'm saying? Mob type shit. You know what I'm saying? Pinky ring on, big boss shit. That doesn't mean the other side is not equally influential. They're two different styles. That's what y'all got to understand. Nas couldn't do good in Jim Jones style, in his style of rapping. Just like Jim Jones couldn't do good at that knowledge and street grittiness, even though it's still street. You get what I'm saying? He is not in the same category as Jim Jones. And Jim Jones is not in the same category as Nas lyrically. Now, as a collective, as a whole, yes, they're both hip hop artists, but they shed a light on two different perspectives. Jim Jones is more of the, hey, I came from the street corner, balling and flashy. That's what his persona was. Nas was, you know what I'm saying, whose world is this? Yeah, it was gritty. Yeah, I had to carry guns in the project hallways and, surrounded by crack in the projects and everything. But you know what? It's a way out of this lifestyle and, God body and two different type of styles. Same umbrella, hip hop. And one thing we need to do, you know what I'm saying, is not let these podcasters, especially a podcaster that ain't like Jada or Joe Button, a football player. Come on, y'all. Y'all gonna stand behind a football player. And if y'all want to really get to the nitty gritty, a football player that in one of my home cities got a girl accusing them of shit, a snow bunny at that. Shannon Sharp got all that shit going on with that white girl and paying for pussy and everything else. And y'all gonna give this man credit and let him disrespect Jim Jones? And get that motherfucking punk shit out of here, bro. Shout out to Jim Jones, bro. You that nigga, and anybody hating on that man, y'all just some motherfucking haters. Like I said, I'm a musician, and I wish I can get to his level. Nas is on a whole nother level. I wish I can get to Jim Jones motherfucking level, man. I strive every day. It's your boy beating us by the bag. This is music, biz, leave your comments. What y'all think, man? Do y'all fuck with Jim Jones? Do y'all fuck with Nas more? Or are we gonna come together as a people and stop the hating shit and say what it is? And that man, Jim, has made substantial contributions to the game. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave comments. Peace.